Hey folks, welcome back to another Palm Masters video, and usually I do these a bit earlier, except I completely forgot about these. So yeah, they reran Ingo and Emmett, obviously very nice units, right? And yeah, it's bit of a weird time to rerun them, but also not super weird, because like it's basically around the same time that they got initially released last year, right? It's around this time, sort of, right? I think a bit later, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. So, Ingo Emmett, I guess as usual, there's really nothing to talk about in terms of if you should really pull on these units, right? Look, if you're a big fan of these guys, right? Which for some reason there's a pretty massive fan base of these two, right? Go for it, I guess. But again, it's just that it's a very bad idea. It is a very bad idea to pull right now, right? Especially for rerun units, right? And look, again, these two are fine units, right? I mean, I do think there's a sizable gap between these two. I do think Ingo is much better than Emmett. Emmett's not bad. It's just that rock types at the moment do sort of lack like rock zone to make them as good as any of the better or even sort of slightly above average damage dealers in the game, right? That do already have zone or their other 1.5 times multipliers. It doesn't have to be zone, right? Generally, right? So it's a weird awkward position that that Emmett is in, but Ingo is solid, right? I mean, I think he's one of the better supports in the game, right? The ability to set Sandstorm, you could take a decent amount of hits. He could buff a lot of really good offensive stats, and then he could buff speed, right? It takes a while, but you get there, right? I think evasion too. So there's a decent amount of things that you could actually do with Ingo, which makes him very good. Obviously a staple for most Sandstorm teams, although to be fair, Sandstorm teams at the moment are in a bit of a not so great situation, right? Maybe minus like a Raihan, right? So yeah, Ingo's still good. Emmett, I still think Emmett is the best rock type damage dealer, right? But again, rock types in general are a bit behind, right? They are definitely a bit behind. And if you're wondering, well, are they really ever going to give us rock zone? Because, rock already has sandstorm. Well, here's the reality, right? They better give us rock zone, because if they don't, a lot of these rock type damage dealers, whether they have or even those who have sandstorm multipliers, are gonna suck, right, in comparison to the rest of the game. So you better hope they give us rock zone, right? And again, I'm not saying Emmett sucks right now, but there's a significant gap between where Emmett was last year, right, when there was no other zones, and where Emmett is right now, right? I mean, he's still again, in my opinion, right, the best rock type damage dealer in the game, but the best rock type damage dealer in the game and like the 5th best psychic type damage dealer in the game. It's it's starting to show the disadvantages of such units, right? And again, rock is the weird one because we don't really know if in the future if we're really gonna get a rock zone or not, right? Like unlike fighting types, right? I'm fairly confident we will be getting a fighting zone in the future, right? So I'm not super worried about stuff like SE Diantha or even Wally Gallade, etc. Even though, well, I mean, Wally Gallade, maybe not the best example, but I'm not super worried about those units. The only thing I would really worry about them is if the fighting zone unit appears to be the same unit as well, right? Then we would start to worry a bit, right? Which is, again, why I really do not want the upcoming May to be a fighting zone setting May, because then the Easter May or Spring May can't utilize fighting zone. Then that would be pretty terrible for the Easter May, right? But, other than that, right? Yeah, he's still really good. It's just that, like, yeah, it's anniversary's coming up. The next villain arc's coming up, right? We just had, banners with the very powerful units. And honestly, even if you want to compare it with contemporary other banner units, right? I don't think Emmett's better than SS Karina, and I definitely don't think Emmett's better than Glory over here, right? Again, the real prize on this banner, I would say at the moment, is still Ingo, because Ingo is really, really good. There really isn't a unit that you could really replace Ingo with if you really don't have him. Obviously, you could do like Acerola plus a support, but then again, that's 2 units trying to do, something that generally Ingo could sort of fill on his own, right? Again, obviously not all. Acerola has the 1 gauge, Spamble, Flinch, Citra that Ingo obviously doesn't have, this and that, but it's just a very, very, very good support, right? And I'm not saying you should wait for like an Ingo solo banner, because I don't think that's happening, right? Because like, if Ingo ever gets a rerun, every time he gets rerun, he's going to be on a banner with either Emmett or someone else, right? Someone else meaning he's on one of those legendary gauntlet banners, or if he gets rerun, he's going to be rerun with Emmett. Let's be real, right? I mean, I'm like 80%, 85% certain we will never see a solo Ingo banner again, right? So if you want him right now, that's a chance, I guess. 1.5% chance each, which is again not terrible, right? That's definitely a solid raise, but again, it's just not the time to pull for units like these, right? They're good units, even as much whatever I've just said about Emmett, he's still again, in my opinion, the best rock type damager of the game, right? Which, if you care about that, I mean, if you don't care about that and you could just off type and still do more damage than super effective Emmett, that's fine. That's your choice, I guess. But yeah, good units. Very bad timing. Very, 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 very bad timing. Right, very bad timing. Again, if you're really just going for them, like, it's just very hard to justify pulling for these 2 right now, right? But again, this is a very, very good like combo banner to pull on, because if somehow you get both, right, they do work pretty well together, right? So that's good at least, right? But again, I would say unless you're a massive Ingo Emmett fan, this is not a banner you want to spend your gems on. Not a banner you want to spend your gems on. This is bait. This is very, very good bait. Right, but bait nonetheless. So I'm just hold on to her gems just a bit longer. Just hold on to your gems a bit longer. Look, you could even wait until we see, because this runs till like August 3rd, right? You could wait for the details to come out. And if you think, all right, man, the Horn Arc, whatever, they're not that good, then okay, you come back pull for this, right? So again, unless you're a massive Ingo Emmett fan, this is not a banner you really want to pull for. And also, again, Ingo's been on better banners. Ingo straight up has been on well, the last banner he was on, the gauntlet, like this is not like the end all be all. You don't like have to summon on this banner specifically for both of these 2, right, to be together to like really have a shot, right? Because there's, Ingo has been on better banners, and I'm sure Emmett will be on better banners too, right, in the future. So it's not like, oh, if you skip this banner, you will never pull them again. No, they will come back relatively frequently, right? They'll come back. They'll come back again, especially with these legendary gauntlet Pokefair Rerun banners. They do come back relatively frequently. So anyways, yeah, that's been this one, I guess. Hope you all enjoyed, guys. Think of the comments below. Like, share this video, subscribe for some more about my Carnival and stuff. We'll see you guys in the next one.